let me tell you a little bit about Allah's Club. Hi there, thanks for joining. Allah's Club is the Latino club for Dallas College. We originated at the Richland campus, but now we are opening up to all 7 campuses. So if you are interested, please join our club. In fact, I'm going to put the little, it's Allah Student Club, and hit follow, and we will have more information. We are actually developing a eCampus community page so that if you want to join us, we'll send out emails, we'll send out information. But one of the things we like to do is we are not just about Latinos, and it is not just for Latinos. Our club is open to all campuses. As we like to say, it is for the Latino within. And as I like to make a joke, after a shot of tequila, there is a Latino in there. But the point is that we like to promote cultural events, and we love to collaborate with other clubs. We especially love working with the Anapisi, with the Multicultural Center. We love highlighting Asian events. I mean, if you look at our ancestry, there is evidence of Asian cultures migrating through Latin America. You'll notice in my heritage, I'm about to do my 23andMe, but I'm pretty sure I do have some elements of that too. So we are all about that. There's that interconnection of, if you go all the way back to indigenous culture. And so we are always so happy to learn about other cultures. I think it helps us embrace our, what we call our Latinalidad. Of course, I can't speak today. And I love seeing the connections between all the other cultures. So when the Asian clubs were talking about Moon Festival, you know, I didn't know a lot about it. And I even asked Professor Pam, like in a nutshell, can you explain it to me? And I love this idea that it's about, you know, the end of, it's harvest time, you know, it's the end of the summer. It's really the signal of a new season is about to begin. And, you know, it's funny, I read an article this morning about how people in Norway really embrace the winter seasons. You know, for some of us, and, you know, I'm a girl from Texas, I do not do well in cold. But for them, it's not this horrible, like, oh, it's so cold, it's so freezing. They have a positive mindset, and it's a shift. And so when I look at the Moon Festival, there is another shift happening. We are shifting into fall. And like today, this morning was the first time I had to put a light jacket on. I was so excited. You know, you feel the cool breezes. It's not 100 degrees and oppressive heat. So, you know, a lot of times people get kind of very stuck in their ways. But when you look at, you know, that change is inevitable, change does happen. And as you can see, living in a pandemic, we are in what I often call a paradigm shift. Things are constantly in flux. And right now, our world is shifting, and we are never going to be the same. But that doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. It's just we have to find new ways to reconnect. And so I'm so grateful that we do these live Instagrams, and for our club, for our Allah's Club, we are very much a family, and we love and we support each other like a family. And all of the professors that I work with, I do not collaborate with people I do not absolutely love and adore and respect. So whenever I have guests on here, whenever we are working on programming, these are people, and especially the women, these are some of the most amazing women that you will ever find. These professors, you are so blessed to have them. For the people that work, the support staff, the administrators, I make sure I surround myself with people that care just as much about our students as you do. And that's why we're here. We're here for you. We want to make sure that you are staying connected. And so I love that we are learning about the Moon Festival. And, you know, what's funny is there is an interesting connection, or at least I saw parallels between the Moon Festival and Latinx culture. If you look at Aztec culture, the sun and the moon are very prominent in their history. And in fact, there is a famous kind of story about Aztec culture where you have El Sol, the sun, and La Luna, the moon. And as you know, in Romance languages, you have masculine and feminine properties for names. So La Luna is considered feminine energy, and El Sol is considered, you know, male. And the story in Aztec culture is that the sun and the moon are lovers, and they are forever chasing each other throughout the day. And if you think about it, there are only 2 times in the entire day when they are actually together, when they can see each other, when they can be together. And if you think about it, that's sunrise Okay, sometimes the moon is still out as the sun is coming up, and then sunset as the sun is going to bed, the moon is coming up. And so I love that when you're talking about moon festival in other countries, the moon has value in other cultures. Just like every culture has an origin story, every culture has a way of honoring and giving back. And I love this notion that for the moon festival, for the different, however you interpret it, it is a way of passing on tradition. It's teaching through stories. It has life lessons, so many beautiful things. So I know we have a little bit of time, but I do want to share the story that I have been asked to give. I have about 10 minutes, but I'm not sure. Let's see. Professor Pam, should I go ahead and start the story, or we can just riff a little more? It's up to you. Yes, moon energy is so powerful. How many of you are affected by the moon? Just raise your hand or give me some hearts or something. When it's full moon, like yesterday, all weekend I was in full cleaning organization mode. I actually want to grade during this time, so I am very much affected by the moon. And I notice that when I kind of have lower energy days, it's because the moon is not out. So, and in fact, I'll share another. My life partner, he is of South Indian descent, and his mother too very much follows the phases of the moon. And what I love, what I didn't know, is that his mom, she follows Hindu faith, but when there's a full moon, she goes full vegetarian. And I just think that's one of those things that she does. That's part of how she was brought up, part of her culture, and so she likes to pay respect, and she just goes veg. Sometimes when we have to decide what we're having for dinner, I'm like, is it a full moon? Can we have meat? Can we not? So there you go. Okay, so you said, one of the students said he is not affected by the moon. Okay, well, you're lucky. That's good. For some of us, I very much am, the tide, of course, and the ocean is affected by the moon. I don't even know what would happen if we don't have the moon someday. So there you go. Alrighty, well, I know we're running a little earlier, but let me go ahead and read the story that I was assigned. And this is actually a story from China. Okay, so this is Wu Gang, the woodcutter. All right, and so as you've seen, there's many stories about the Mid-Autumn Festival. This one about Wu Gang starts out like any other story, okay? Typical man trying to earn an honest wage, but always wanting more, right? Sounds familiar, right? I just made a Target run, and I was supposed to go get one item. So there's always more things I want. Okay, I'm sorry. I digress as I tell the story. Okay, so back to Wu Gang. Wu Gang was a woodcutter who was tired of doing the same thing every day and had a longing desire to become immortal, okay? However, the emperor did not like Wu Gang due to his lousy attitude. Wu Gang had a condition called chronic laziness. Yeah, that doesn't sound like anybody we know, right? We don't know anyone that's very chronically lazy, right? No. So when Wu Gang came to the emperor to ask to become immortal, the Jade Emperor decided to teach him a lesson. And it's the lesson of a lifetime. The Jade Emperor planted a cherry bay tree on the moon and sent Wu Gang up to the moon to chop it down. He then promised Wu Gang that after he finished chopping down the tree, he would be immortal. Okay? So with all the excitement, the Jade Emperor conveniently forgot to tell Wu Gang that the tree was magical. Okay? The tree would constantly regenerate, leaving the tree impossible to knock down. Oh, sorry, and that's Simran. That's my doggie. Simmy! There's somebody at the door, probably. The fun of live feeds. Okay. Hey! Sorry about that. As Wu Gang attempted to cut down the tree to become an immortal soul, he hacked day after day, and it never fell. It is said that on the Mid-Autumn Festival, you can see and hear Wu Gang continuously hacking at the tree, trying to make his way to becoming an immortal being. Due to the fact that the tree never actually falls, you can say that the Jade Emperor's task was really the lesson of a lifetime. Okay? So it says, as you worship the moon on the Mid-Autumn Festival, right alongside Ugang, you may see the goddess of the moon and the jade rabbit. So there you go. I don't know if that story sounds similar. There are echoes of similar stories. Maybe you've heard of the myth of Sisyphus, the idea of just forever, you know, rolling that rock up the hill and it falling right back down. So I like this idea that, you know, I mean, be careful what you wish for. Wugang wanting to be immortal, and he is still trying to chop down that tree that continues to regrow. So there you go. The TED Talk that I do, it's actually my mother's story. It's the story about how she was raised, how she was brought up, and how she made a shift, and how because of the act of rebellion that she did, that's the reason why I'm here at all, and why I was able to get an education and be a professor and do all of these lovely things. So it's my origin story, and it's about, I'm finding a lot of, especially Latina women have similar stories, similar backgrounds, and we're just not seeing enough women of color pushing through in education and in moving up the economic and the social ladder. So we want to make sure that we are supporting you, we are mentoring you. And so if you're curious, come check it out. If not, you can look for it on YouTube. Also, Alas has a YouTube page. If you want to see any of our previous live check-ins, just go to YouTube and just type in Alas Student Club and it will pull up. And please, I hope you'll subscribe to our YouTube channel. Yes, I can repeat the TED Talk. It's called Encouraging, let's see, I can't type today. Encouraging Hispanic Girls, I'm going to put it here in the thing, Hispanic Girls to Grow. All right. So you can look for that on YouTube, or you can just type in my name and it should pull up. My name is Michelle Navarro. Okay. And also make sure you join our Alas YouTube page. So just type in Alas Student Club